Chicago Bears fans, you might be looking at this free agency signing period and you might be wondering, what? You're not alone. There are a lot of people right now who are looking at the decisions and the moves being made for the Chicago Bears that are not addressing very specific needs for this team. And you might be asking yourself, what exactly is going on? Nothing that we see here is really making any sense. However, I do want to posit there are a few really good options that are still available in free agency that have not even come close to signing or being moved anywhere so far. So, what do we break down and what do we see and what's going on? Well, let me start off with showing you who we've signed. All right, guys, we've signed Ryan Bates, Kevin Byard, Gerald Everett. And by the way, we did have a conversation about Gerald Everett about 2 weeks ago. Tarvarius Moore, Jonathan Owens, Matt Pryor, Brett Ripien, and DeAndre Swift. So we've signed a running back, a backup quarterback. We've signed three defensive backs. We've signed an offensive tackle. Matt Pryor is an offensive lineman, prefers the tackle position. Ryan Bates is an offensive lineman, prefers guard and center positions. And then we've signed Gerald Everett. Now, there are a few situations that have been improved upon, I want to say. I think Eddie Jackson was overpaid at the position for what he was doing. So it would stand to reason that having this group of safeties that are now here would probably help the team tremendously. I think that Ryan Bates probably clocks in a little better than Cody Whitehair long term in his ability to provide protection. Matt Pryor, certainly, I want to say it's going to be a better option here than Larry Borum as a backup, or he could end up seeing some actual playing time. I mean, he could end up being a starter before this is all done. Brett Ripien, probably not. DeAndre Swift, I'm not sure what DeAndre Swift's uh, role is going to be just yet. Most probably he's going to be the starting running back, but it will be Khalil Herbert's job to earn or maybe lose. So we'll see how this plays out. But DeAndre Swift also as a running back coming out of the backfield can catch a lot of passes. So that's what we have so far. That's where this team is. Those are the people that we've signed. This is kind of a testimony of where we are so far. But now let's look at the lineup a little bit and let's see if anything's really dramatically changed. All right, here is the lineup. DJ Moore, wide receiver one. We still don't have a wide receiver two. We don't have a slot receiver. So we're still without. I did pencil in Ryan Bates at the center position. We are waiting for word from Connor Williams, somebody like that, that there might be, there might be a signing coming up that makes all of this seem a little less weird, if you will. And let's take Gerald Everett, and if we move him to the slot receiver position, and we just run with a two tight end set, two tight ends, two receivers, we're really accomplishing the same thing on a shorter field by providing four viable options, and we don't have a wide receiver two. Now, that wide receiver two most probably is being considered either in free agency or that we just haven't seen yet, or there is a move being made to secure somebody like Marvin Harrison, like Roma Dunze, like Malik Neighbors. So there is possibly some work being done that we don't see yet because we haven't seen this whole tapestry, if you will, sort of play out. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, there are two positions that were desperately in need of fixing, and that was defensive tackle and edge. As of right now, we've let Justin Jones go. We don't have a replacement for Justin Jones at defensive tackle. There are some good defensive tackles in this draft, so it could be that we're looking to add to the haul in that position as well. But most of these guys are not ready for starting. So we're looking for a defensive tackle. We're looking for an edge rusher. All of the better, I want to say, edge rushers have kind of taken themselves off the market. Chase Young still sits out there. I don't know if you would call him optimal, but he's still sitting out there. So let's go. Let's put a pin in this, and we'll come back to this one later. And let's go back here to the offense. Now, Justin Fields is at this point the quarterback. Caleb Williams, due diligence is being performed for Caleb Williams. To me, due diligence means that they're looking for reasons to stick with Justin Fields. I just want to be clear. on what I think is happening here. I do think that the Bears are trying in their own ecosystem here to give Justin Fields every opportunity to be that guy. I think they're looking and they're weighing the options and they're saying to themselves, is Caleb Williams really this generational guy? A lot of scouts said the same thing about a lot of different players that just did not work out. So, and the jury's still out on whether or not he's going to be that player. So for now, we're going to pencil in Justin Fields as the quarterback. And that does interrupt the narrative of the media. The media has been on Justin Fields a lot. They want him gone because they want Caleb Williams to come in. And it makes perfect sense. Unless you consider something that's occurred to me, why are we saving all of this payroll? We have $57 million still left in free agency, 10 million of which is going to be probably for emergencies. You can probably get by with 6, 7, or 8. But you want to take 10 in. So you got 47 million left. You're going to have to sign your draft picks. Even if you have a good draft haul, it's going to be 15 million, 20 million maybe. So you got 37 million or 27 million after that. What are you going to do with that? Where are you going to put that? And then that it looks like the salary cap is going to expand for the next couple of years. Could they be freeing up cap space for Justin Fields? Could they be looking to do this? And look, this is something that's a little bit odd, right? Justin Fields probably is recognizing that he is not earning a $40 million contract. It is possible that we see the Chicago Bears pull off a re-signing of Justin Fields before his rookie contract has ended, where he ends up getting a better deal, or effective next season, he gets a better deal where he's making 15 to 20 million a year, which would fit within what Chicago would need. It would allow them to save a little bit, and it would give him maybe 3 or 4 more years to do his thing or still be young enough to move on if that's the case. And I think that he realizes with nobody really interested, allegedly, in this market, that it might be better for him to do that. And at the same time, I must say the city of Chicago loves Justin Fields. So you have to ask yourself a lot of weird questions like, what do you want to do with Justin Fields? And if your answer is keep him and build around him, it's a weird way of doing this. Now, here's the other piece. You've got Brett Ripien, you've got Tyson Bagent, and now you got Justin Fields. So there's no room for Caleb Williams unless you move Justin Fields. And we know that there's not really a market for it. And, Ryan Poles does not have to, quote unquote, do right by Justin. I do want to stress that. But it doesn't look like they're accounting for the fact that they might need a fourth quarter. They certainly don't need a fourth quarterback. So are we looking at them saying Justin is our guy? That's the question that you have to ask yourself right now. If they are, what are we doing with DeAndre Swift? Are we continuing on as we did before? Because it looks kind of good if you grant that DeAndre Swift is at least as good, if not a little better, than Deonta Foreman. This really comes out as a good one. And by the way, the Bears are going to want to use 3 running backs this season instead of 4 like they did last season. And we're going to have an extra tight end, most probably. And we picked up a tight end in Gerald Everett. Not the guy's not lightning. The guy's not lightning, but he is a good, stable guy. He can block pretty well. He can make catches out of the slot. So he is a pretty good pickup for this team. 41 receptions, 417 yards just recently. So he does have the capacity. He does have the capability of being that guy. I would at least hope that you could grant me in that regard. He spent the last 2 seasons with the Chargers, where he overlapped with new Bears coach Chris Beatty. So it looks like the team is getting their guys. They're getting the people that they want to have in position. And look, Gerald Everett might not be a starter. He might not. It might be a one tight end leading off, but he's putting himself in a potential situation in which he becomes an invaluable backup. Ripien, same thing. All of these guys, they really look like we're just creating backups for positions, and we're adding depth to the roster. Now, Are we adding depth to the roster because we have deals in place for key spots? We go back to center. We go back to wide receiver. We go back to slot wide receiver. We go back to defensive end. We go back to defensive tackle. What exactly are we doing here? So I know you're asking a lot of questions here. I don't have the answers for you today. Here's what I say. On the surface, this looks like the Bears now have their three quarterbacks, including Justin Fields. It looks like they're focused on running backs and a defensive, or I'm sorry, it looks like they're focused on taking a new quarterback. It looks like they're focused on wide receivers and defensive ends, defensive tackles in this upcoming draft, because that would fill a few of the holes. Now, we have some creative mock drafts that we do, and the mock drafts are just kind of ideas about what could happen. We don't know yet how this is going to play out. We don't know what anybody will offer. We don't know what the future holds. But here's what's important. Today, Justin Fields is QB1. And we got a draft coming where we have a real generational talent in Marvin Harrison Jr. It feels like our responsibility and obligation to let the Chicago Bears know that's the guy that we want. If Justin is our quarterback, then we really want Marvin Harrison to be that guy. And then we just kind of hope that Shane Waldron works his magic and we turn into an elite offense. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know this is rambling just a little bit because I don't have a real, this is a little wild what these guys have done here. Yes, we're creating a little bit of depth. Yes, I'm happy with the depth that's being created. Is it what I was expecting? No, I expected the Bears to make a splash. And to be fair, if they sign Curtis Samuel today or tomorrow, and they sign Connor Williams today or tomorrow, I think we've had a pretty good free agency. And if they take that last bit of money and they get Chase Young, I think we've done a fantastic job. We could go from, being okay to being a lot better with just three simple signings, and none of those are going to break the bank for us. None of them will be bank breakers, and that will allow us to move into this draft with a clear perspective. And look, again, if they go with Caleb Williams instead of Justin Fields, then you just pull Justin Fields out of the lineup and you put Caleb Williams in, and no harm, no foul. You still have your three quarterbacks. I know we don't want that, but that is the reality of that situation. And it's possible that we don't get anything for Justin Fields. It's also possible that Justin Fields is on the roster in a very uncomfortable situation for, until Caleb Williams is ready to start. I mean, it is possible. It is his job, by the way, to do that. And, if he doesn't do his job, then what kind of professional is he to begin with? So, we'll see a lot about what's going on very, very soon. So, again, I know I meandered here. I know I rambled just a little bit, but I'm a little puzzled by some of these moves. I'm trying to make it fit in my brain. So if it's fitting in your brain already and you're like, these are fantastic moves, good for you. They're not for me. I don't see it yet. I do see at this point that Justin Fields is QB1. I do see that they've built a better offensive line around it. I do see that the defensive backfield is a little bit better. By the way, huge cornerback room, huge safety room now. So I feel the pieces coming together, but I do still miss those pieces that are not in place yet. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm fascinated by this draft, actually, despite that, I looking for something different, but I am fascinated by what I've seen so far. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. And is Justin Fields still your number one guy? We'll talk to you again very soon.